Member statements. I call them in for Baulkham Hills.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Madam Acting Speaker, in my electorate of Baulkham Hills, we've had a very active couple of weeks with public events and engagements and festivities. But I remind the House that the area of Baulkham Hills is not blessed with much public infrastructure. We don't have a court, we don't have a hospital, we don't have a police station, we don't have a university, we don't have a train station. But, Madam Speaker, I do have one fire station. And that, Madam Speaker, I hold very dear to my heart. It is other than the schools in my electorate, it is really the only bit of public infrastructure that I have in the seat of Baulkham Hills. And for that reason, Madam Acting Speaker, on the 18th of May, when we had our Fire and Rescue Open Day, it was a day of great joy and festivity in the seat of Baulkham Hills. I was thrilled to join the many dozens of families and the children at the Baulkham Hills Fire Station, the new Baulkham Hills Fire Station that was only opened last year by the Honourable Mike Gallagher, member of the other place. And I just wanted to commend fire officers Alex Scott and Mr Milburn, who run a great show down there. The Baulkham Hills Brigade put on a wonderful sausage sizzle, and I think that it was a wonderful opportunity for people to pay tribute to the brave work of the firemen and indeed women in not only the electorate of Baulkham Hills but the state of New South Wales. On the same day, Madam Speaker, the Hills District Historical Society had one of their many open days. It was on the 18th of May, and I was able to pop in as a guest of the society, of which I'm a patron, as is the member for Castle Hill. It was at Baulkham Heights Estate, where they have their small museum. And the 2013 theme was transportation. And I'd just like to pay tribute to the President, Julie Graham, and the two Vice Presidents, Elaine White and Rod Harris. Rod Harris is a very old friend of mine, and I'm delighted to see that his passion over the many years that I've known him for things like art and history has not diminished. A few days later, Madam Acting Speaker, on the 20th of May, I joined Her Worship, the Mayor of Baulkham Hills, Councillor Dr Michelle Byrne, for a very special occasion. It was the 100th birthday of Miss Julia Serra. The party was held at the Hills Community Care Social Club, and she was joined by many of her friends and family. Julia not only got her letter from the Queen, but also from the Prime Minister and the Premier and the Vice-Regal appointments in Australia. Julia is a fascinating story. She was born in the Philippines, and I spoke with her during her birthday party. We talked about the many changes that have happened in her country over the century that she's lived, how it was very much influenced by the Spanish when she was born, occupied by the Japanese, and of course the American influence in the Philippines is well known to the current generation. So I wish Julia and her family a wonderful time over this celebration of her centenary year. Madam Acting Speaker, last week on the 23rd of May, the member for Castle Hill and I hosted the Hills District School Leaders Afternoon Tea and Forum. It's an annual event where many of the school captains and principals from my electorate and the electorate of Castle Hill come into Parliament, and they get to meet a number of community leaders. And this year they included Major General Warren Glennie, AC, the President of the Castle Hill RSL Club, Superintendent Phil Flogel from the Castle Hill Local Area Command, Lyle Gorman from the mighty Western Sydney Wanderers, Colonel Don Tate, OAM, who is a leading member of our veterans community. And I just wanted to thank and put on record, Madam Speaker, the wonderful contribution that Ministers Dominello, Roberts and Pickley made when they arrived. Minister Roberts took the opportunity to give a special presentation to Warren Glennie for the work that he does in the Department of Fair Trading. Madam Acting Speaker, I would also like to thank Minister Adrian Pickley for visiting the Jasper Road Public School last week on the 24th of May. School Principal Anne Page should be commended for hosting us, particularly the Minister, at such short notice. The students sang, laughed and boasted about their garden and artwork on the ministerial visit, and the Minister and I enjoyed a wonderful morning tea afterwards. And as you can tell, Madam Speaker, the Minister for Education and I attend both the same gym and the same barber. Madam Acting Speaker, last weekend, as many know, the Red Shield appeal was on. and I wanted to compliment the local Salvation Army in my electorate for the wonderful work they do, and thank the generosity of those in my electorate for that support. And finally, Madam Acting Speaker, last night the Western Sydney Academy of Sport had their wonderful Rugby League Awards. I wanted to commend Martin Bullock and members of the Junior Rugby League community for the wonderful work that they do in putting those local teams together. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Private member statements.